And hello again, boys and girls. Welcome back to the stream. It's of course your host Marley Startled, and today it is the weekend, and so I had a choice between either going back to playing Grand Tactician, American Civil War, playing some Hoi 4 multiplayer, or playing this. And I thought, you know what? It's the weekend. I can afford to stay up till like 1 in the morning playing this game, and so we will be doing so, playing the Soviet campaign. We're going to be starting again now that I know more than I initially did previously. So we're going to do normal difficulty. Our preferences, we're going to keep, oh, that's wrong preferences. Game options, we're going to keep the fog of war off. So you can actually see. I didn't really like having the fog of war on because it was a bit jarring in terms of um, seeing like these one or two units. I didn't really like it, but if you want realism, you want the fog of war on, whereas you can actually see the general situation what the AI is doing. We'll do this, why not? Actually, no, we'll turn that off. And then we'll keep this on normal difficulty. Okay, easy said and done, computer controlled, and we're going to start from the beginning and see how far we get. So, playing the Soviet Union, this time we're going to go for the 1941 campaign and not the early on campaign, otherwise I'll automatically win, and we will start again. There we are. Initializing. The first turn is not going to be very pleasant, so it's going to take a while. Enjoy it. And so the AI is basically going to smash us this turn and make our lives painfully unpleasant, and afterwards we're going to have to try and salvage the situation. I know I had a previous playthrough of this, which I'm probably not going to continue, because now I know more about the game, and so I actually can salvage what I'm doing. So it's only day one, I've already lost 1,100 planes, there's nothing we can do about it. Just live in pain and suffering, basically. Still day one, we've lost all our planes. And they have lost only 241 planes, so there you go. We will be rushing through it, so we will be doing 0 messages, because you don't really need the messages to see how well you've done. Basically, if you pushed a unit off the tile, then you've won the battle, and if you haven't, then, well, it's either a draw or you've lost. It's day 5 now, and I've lost 2,400 planes. So for this first 6 turns, I'm going to be spending a lot of time running. So you can just watch the AI power drive us. Are you feeling it, Mr. Krabs? I'm feeling it. Now, depending how far those tanks... Okay, yeah, those units are gone. These units be deed. Here comes the Minsk encirclement. Enjoy. Oh dear. Oh, and they've changed you close to the next fortification line. Oh, they crossed the Stalin line, which is not good. Although, they may not fully encircle Minsk this turn. Who knows? Feels bad, man. No, no. Here it comes. There you go. Boy! Boy! So what do we have east of that position? Got a large tank reserve and some mechanized, so that's good. If I can get those guys out and form the first defensive line around Kiev, which will be the first real defensive line, will be the Kiev line and the Smolensk line, and then from there we'll have to work out what we need to do. Indeed, but we haven't got there yet. Probably by like turn 2, Kiev will be playing a key role in the pain train. Is it still turn 1 when Minsk is getting clapped? Minsk is getting bent over. Trick is not to panic. Trick is not to panic. Or to panic. Oh, there you go. Job done. So we'll have to take a look at the situation and go from there. So Lvov got encircled, but I think most of the units got pushed out, so that's good for me. That means I can hopefully begin a withdrawal process. And then the first turn's always the worst turn. It's about getting everything in order. Fortunately, the Romanians haven't joined yet, but the Romanians are easy to bully, so that's where most of the fighting is going to be for me, bullying Romanians. Alright, situation report. 220,000 men dead, 1,500 tanks lost, 4,000 planes lost. 95,000 units, 19,000, or 98,000, 38 required. Repair 1,222. Men required, one. Okay, that shouldn't be too bad. Right, let's take a look. Let's take a look at the damage. So we've got mass encirclements over here, which I'm not going to be able to get out any decent troops. So most of these are going to have to be mass withdrawing up to Pskov, and then I'm going to retreat troops out of Tallinn to form a defensive line there. Over in the centre, we're going to turn this into the Smolensk line with some fortifications, and then this is going to be our sort of pivot point here. So we're going to have this sort of river line, and that will form our first defensive pivot. I wonder if I can change this to combat value, so make oh, there it is. And then down south, we're going to be retreating across this waterline here. And then where Kursk is, which I believe is this objective down here, we're going to retreat a portion of the troops in this sector to form the Kursk bulge, and a portion of the troops in the south to form a defensive line there. In the meantime, we'll begin withdrawing these from the pocket and trying to form our first big defensive line, really just spanning this river line all the way up to Kiev. So this is going to be a bit open, which the tanks can maneuver through, but the rest should be fine. Anyway, let's get to grips with our situation. So these are dead. Just accept that these are dead. You can try and break them out, but these are dead. So northwestern air. The first thing is to be flexible, and they've joined the northwestern front, so that's already good. Leningrad, you're going to join the northwestern front as well. Exactly, just wait till winter. That's the plan. Moscow command, where's the central front? There's the western front, so I'm going to send the Moscow command over to the western front and set them to flexible. Western air command, western front. You're going to join the western front as well. And this is how we're going to do easy air. Easy air. And then for the southwestern front, we're going to assign the south. Oh, it's already been assigned. Southern front, you can, yeah, that's fine. Kharkov can stay as it is, and then we're just going to let the AI do its thing with the air. So I don't have to think about it too much. Any plane's going to go up, or is it all just going to move? So for the first 6 turns, we're just going to get stomped, basically. And after the first 6 turns, the logistics system will start slowing the Germans down. And so all we have to do is run, or try and slow down the pushes until the first 6 turns. Because if we just allow them to take too much land, then they'll be in too strong a position for winter. And no planes in the air, of course. Alright. So, let's take a look. To the north, can I get any of these troops out? No. I may be able to do some memes here. No. The tank as well, I can't get a tank out. I may just see if I can just do some basic damage against these units. The infantry, we'll start trying to push them out. The trick is to compartmentalise as well. Don't go like, oh god, this entire front. Let's focus on northern front, central front, and then southern front. So this is the northern front for now. Northern front is Pskov down to about here, Valery Luki, and then eventually moving into Leningrad once we get pile drived too much. Get the tanks out. I can try. The infantry's not going to get out on time. The infantry's done for. Goodbye, infantry. So let's form the first defensive line. Move this second headquarters behind. Because this is the northern front, let's make sure the northern front is moved back over here as well to about here. There we are. Security units, first things first, get these boys in. We're going to form a big dollop of brute force to stop them crossing this river here. One combat value, wow, that's not good. 2 combat value, wow, that's also not good. Moved headquarters out of Pskov. I won't let me because it's not been enough time. And the air wing can run. The air wing can just get out. Air command, run away. Tanks, you got 5 combat value. You're going to move into reserve in this sector. And so if anyone tries to attack, they'll be able to counter punch. And then security units are going to run over here. Because this will be lost. This is a lost cause, but we're going to do so anyway. There's no point trying to hold Talon just losing troops for the sake of it. And they're going to form a defensive line across this river here. And that will buy us time. We will lose the position eventually. But it will buy us time until then. Can I get these boys out? Nah, you guys gonna chill here. Oh, that's a motorized. You know what? We'll live risky. Run. And you're stuck. You're gone. Sorry, also Rifle Regiment. You're done for. Reserves. I can't move these yet. What a shame. So this is the northern sector more or less dealt with. There we are, compartmentalized. So the reason why I'm not spreading too much across here is because each individual unit is very weak. So that's like 1 combat value, 8 movement. So that means that the tanks, which are going to have like a ridiculous combat value, are just going to come through and punch straight through my thin defensive line. Whereas if I try and keep a strong defensive line, say across the river, at this rail line and this rail line, it will slow them down a bit more. Otherwise, they've got to go round me to encircle me and all that sweet stuff. It's a bit more dangerous because the Allies been a bit more aggressive this turn. So the next thing I will do is retreat this HQ back. And where am I going to form the next defensive line? Along here. So this is actually going to be a defensive line. We're going to assign you to, not Stavka, the nearest army. Okay, 22nd Army, and then you're going to go to the northwest, I suspect. Yeah. There we are. These troops are all assigned. You're going to get assigned to this HQ. This security unit is going to be hot garbage, so I expect this to get punched through rather quickly, so we're going to form a fortification here. There we are. I'm going to move this tank in there as well. Alright, any reserves? Yes. Mechanized is also pretty garbage, and it's unready as well. So the mechanized will go back. They're going to form a depot here. Oh, is there already a depot there? Yeah, it is. Let me turn on the depot button. There it is. Let's move the 2nd Army over here to buff that depot up. Oh, it's already buffed. And move this tank back to this depot. Rifle Corps can move out. You can move in. And then you can refit. And you're also unready, so you're also going to retreat back and refit. Actually, no, you're just going to be cannon fodder. Next position. Oh god, none of you are ready. And over in this position, you're depleted, so you're done for. You're going to retreat back. and you are going to retreat back here, and this is going to form the centre front against Smolensk. That's a bulge. I don't like bulges. I may narrow this front a bit more. 1, 2, 3, 4 tiles. Yeah, let's narrow the front a bit more. Okay, who you assigned to? Where is the northwestern theatre or the western front? The western front. You're going to go and stick yourself on Smolensk. And that should buff the production or the capacity up a bit more. There we are. And then over here, let's continue to excessively dump cannon fodder on these fronts. Unready, refit. You're ready. And I didn't want to move you, so go back. Go back. I want to move you. And there we are. The tank is going to be the reserve unit, so I'm going to plonk it behind here and set it to reserve, so if there's any battles... Oh, I hate you. There we are. If there's any battles, then they will hopefully join the battles. And then this will be also the same. And then we'll find out who these guys are assigned to and assign them to an army. 19th Army, you're going to be assigned to the northwestern front. 18th Army, come on now. There we are. Now all my guys are blue. Mechanized Corps, reassign your position. So these will be assigned to the nearest army, the nearest front, so these guys will be immediately assigned to the nearest sort of HQ, which will be the western front in this case. And then whoever this fellow is, Stavka. Whoa, you can't be assigned to Stavka, Mr. Infantryman. You're the infantry, you can't be Stavka. Go to the nearest corps. This is, of course, not the perfect way of doing it. You really should be spending hours going through different officers and so on, but no one's got time for that. So here we have our Smolensk Bulge, which will eventually be lost in a matter of seconds. It will be a matter of seconds when we lose this bulge. Because they're just going to plow through this, and then this is going to get encircled, so stand by for that to happen. So the centre, the disaster of the centre, what to do about you? Can I get any of these boys out? The answer is an overwhelming no, and you're all unready, so no. Maybe I can use you to bully some units. No. No. So the main rail lines are here and here. So what I'll do is I'll concentrate my troops on the main rail lines. And that will hopefully mean they have to fight a bit harder to open up the logistics. These guys are in fortifications, so there's no point getting rid of them. Let's go to this depot, so they don't get any supply. And see if there's any vulnerable depots in the north. No, there isn't. Let's turn this to 0 priority because I don't need supplies coming this way. Let's carry on. Okay, do we have any reinforcements? Yes, we do. We have some reinforcing troops in the north at Moscow. So these troops will get... I'm not going to rail them because I don't need... Actually, I do need to rail them. Oh, what I'll do first is I will work out the rest of the lines and then I'll see where troops are needed. So the guys running are of course going to be running. HQ is going to withdraw. And we're going to need to withdraw over here along the main rails. This depot's got to go as well because there'll be no one on this side of the depot, of that line. Instead we'll put the depot... We'll keep this depot here. And this depot will just feed the rest of this army. We'll turn this into a level 4 priority depot. None of these troops can move, so you're dead basically. And also I'm not going to worry too much about organising my HQs yet because there's no point. By the time I actually move any troops into a good position, the lines will be broken again. I'll have to reform a second line and there'll just be absolute chaos. So instead it's just about retreating units to form a coherent line before I start working about the command and control. It's bad. This is bad. It's a big gaping hole in my lines. Oh well. And they've all got garbage combat value as well, which doesn't help. Airborne Corps, you can run over here. You're stuck. You can run. Run away! And we'll form the next defensive line behind this river. That tank's done for. It was nice knowing you, Mr. Tank. You're just there to slow the enemy down now. And that's this sector finished. There's some basic forts here, but I'm not going to garrison them because if the enemy just swarms around, I'm just going to lose that position. So instead, I'm just going to keep on running. You're going to run right. Run through the marshes, why not? This won't have any long-term repercussions on my logistics. Too many HQs as well. But thankfully by turn 6 it should be alright. So let's look at the damage here. Can I get any troops out? No, is the answer to that. So we'll have to focus on other things. So this line, let's first send these troops up over here. There's no point moving those troops any further south because I won't be able to get there in time. So instead, our main effort will be to form a coherent line now. Join the Airborne Corps, enjoy, and you can join an army. And then I'll need some guys to defend here, even though you're unready, so you're going to be switched to refit. I can't move that troop. Can move that troop. There we are. And this line. Stavka, you're not going to Stavka, you're going to go to the southwestern front. There you are. You're all in red now. Enjoy. Look at that. Isn't that really winding up your your command and control? There's like a completely random army in the wrong place. There you are. You're going to go to 21st Army. Now you're all in red. And I'll sort you out later. This line, what am I going to do with you? It's got to be down here. It'll have to be through the marshes. Run through the marshes. And I'm hoping the marshes are what saves me against the tank hordes. Reserves, you're going down into Kiev. Down into Kiev, boys. Because look at that, that's such an important supply depot. And then let's focus on making a coherent line here. Not using the rails because that uses administration points, and I don't want to use my administration points. I'm going to move the HQ. The HQ is going to stay there for now. It's going to go direct west or direct east. So this will form the southern front and that will form that part there. So we're going to move all these troops directly to this line here. Just make them march through the the marshes. We're not a kind general, that's for sure. You can see how it can be very clicking intensive to do all of this. I'm not wasting rail just yet. Anti-tank is quite useful, so I want to get you as far east as possible, and this is the farthest I can get you, so you're going to go this way. Same for you fellows. And then we're going to destroy that depot, so they don't get any supplies. So this will form that defensive line, and this will form this defensive line, and then everything south will either be part of the Kiev blob or the Dnieper defense line. So this will probably form the Kiev blob. So off you go to form the Kiev blob. God, it looks so bad at the start. It's like it makes your heart bleed. All you see is just blobs of units. There's chaos everywhere. And you've got to like somehow organize this chaos. And move all these headquarters, which are a pain in my ass. So remind me to go to these depots after I'm done. This will just go directly east. And that will form the southern part of the defensive line, the Kiev line. Which I suspect won't be particularly well supplied. No rail. Railing is bad. You end up wasting all your points on rail and no one can build any supply depots. This army's connected to these fellows, well, it's headquarters, but it doesn't matter. I'm just going to move the headquarters elsewhere. So this will be our weak point, and this will be our weak point here. In the Dnieper line. Oh god, you're not getting out. It was nice knowing you. Oh, you're getting out though. And this headquarters, who are you connected to? You're connected to that, so move up. Yeah. Death by headquarters. I'm gonna have to start moving some troops to the southwest to form contingents of that Dnieper line. And then I'm gonna have to get these guys out. So these guys will form all the way fold back to form parts of this line. These guys will fall back Abaddon, Odessa and form part of this line. And then we should have a coherent line set up. Do 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 do. I hate I hate the number of HQs. And I've got to move them because I've got troops and that in it, so if I don't, I'm just going to lose manpower. You're going to run up north. Is this something to organise later? Once the damage has been done. Doesn't help that a lot of these units don't have aren't actually supplied and aren't combat ready yet. So there's no point fighting with them at this stage. So you're going to retreat to this river line just to buy time because I can't retreat you any further eastwards. And this headquarters is going to move back over here. Slowly but surely starting to see method from in the madness as he runs. Just got to get him out. You're going to form a bulge. No, you're going to keep retreating this way as fast as you can. Because remember, I don't want to overcommit here because most of this position can get abandoned in the next couple of turns. It's just there to buy time. Oh god, this guy's done for. Can I roll you out? No, I can't. Yeah, you're done for. Goodbye, tank. Goodbye, Rifle Corps. Hello, headquarters. I'm going to move my headquarters behind my defensive lines, and then whatever troops end up there, that's going to form part of that headquarters. So you've got headquarters there, so we'll form up headquarters down here, and then any troops that reform here will be part of that headquarters, and then we'll sort out about supplying that later. We'll focus on building like panzer armies and that when it gets to winter, when the lines sort of slow down and things stagnate. There's no point trying to maneuver to form panzer armies when there's no panzers. Remember that some of these troops have got to form this part of the contingent, so I'm going to start moving them, moving this portion down here. Yeah, not a lot of these guys can get encircled, which I'm quite happy with. Sigfarmy, you need to run. Run away! Rifle Corps, they get deleted on, I think, turn 6, I think. So rifle corps aren't that much of a problem, but it's just not losing or wasting manpower, just letting them get destroyed. I try and make the last place where these units end up to be a rail line, so if they have to fight, they fight over a rail line. I can't get you out. Okay, you're done for. That tank's done for. Goodbye, tank. 6th Rifle Corps, you can retreat down to this sector. Security Corps run up here. 26th Army, what to do with you? I think you're going to form a defensive line here. So start running up to that rail line. Run away! I'm going to hope that this stays open. If not, then GG. GG all these troops. But let's be honest, you were disposable anyway, so it doesn't really matter too much to me. God, 12th Army, what am I going to do with you? Just go here. Too many armies, that's the problem. Back in my day, we only had a few armies. Delete this depot. Goodbye, depot. Security, you can retreat to there. It's a security unit. And die, basically. Because once the Romanians get in, this pocket closes, so look forward to that. And then these guys are going to retreat down to this portion of the line. Mechanized, you're going to form a defensive line here for me. With your 1 combat value, so look forward to that. I'll find out where your core is in a second, once I've moved everything. That's good. This is a pretty organic defensive line. That's just managed to be created for my own sheer incompetence. You're going to stay here. There we are. A nice organic line. That should hopefully leave this part open a little bit more, so my guys can escape rather than just doing this massive flank around here. They'll have to do a smaller flank. Because those panzers are going to be coming in dry. I've got to remember this infantry is going to be retreating and that line's going to get smaller as we retreat further. So I've got to make sure that we don't overcommit the southern troops to this sector. But then again, I can only move them so far, and I don't want to waste my points on rail so far. Not feeling too good about this. HQ, motorized corps, go over there, because that's where our tanks are. And where's 12th Army? I don't know. 12th Army, where are you? You're all the way over there. Oh no, 12th Army's there. Oh, this is all worked out. Can't move any of these units, so we're going to delete this railroad depot because this is just going to get overrun. This depot is going as well. So is this depot. So if they try and take these positions, they're just going to not get any supply. Headquarters, you go over here. You plonk your sweet ass over here. Nice work. There we are. And that, I believe, is almost all my units forming up. Some of these will be lost, but there's nothing I can do about it. I don't think I can rail them out anymore. I can't move these troops, but Odessa's going to go the way of the dodo. And I can't move these troops yet, but once I can move them, these troops are going to form part of this defensive line, which I'm going to make this a priority 4 depot, because this will be our first defensive line, going all the way up here. These troops are unready and useless to me, but these troops I'm going to need to start pushing them eastwards to help shore up the defensive lines. So, for example, this has to go up here. Same with you. Same with you. And same with you. Nice work. Nice work. This can go over here. Nice. And then you can be assigned to wherever you desire to be assigned to. Nice. Any other troops? So we have an unready tank unit here and an unready tank unit there. I'm just going to switch them to refit, and I'm going to start moving them in a easterly direction, and hopefully they'll get supplied along the way. And if not, then hey ho. Who do you belong to? You can follow that. And this fellow here, Kharkov MD, can go in there, and you can go in here as well. Well, you can't because there's not enough room to fit you. Can't touch that infantry yet, can't touch that infantry yet. And that just leaves what else to do? Oh yeah, I've got to start thinking about the northern troops. So, let's first look at my supply depots. Sarkov is going to get lost. This will get lost eventually as well. I would like to build a supply depot here. No, that's not a supply depot. That was very bad of me. That was a waste. We've got a supply depot there. We've got a supply depot there. Kharkov will eventually get lost. Probably build a supply depot here as well at this rail junction. There we are. Next in the master plan, automatically manage my depots for me, because I can't be bothered. And then next in the master plan is begin fortifying our positions. So the first step will be to fortify the Smolensk Bulge. Which I can't do. Oh yes I can, because I haven't run out of troops yet. There we are. And that's our Smolensk Bulge fortified. Then the next step will be to start moving troops down to hope to hold these sectors here. Wasting all that sweet, sweet fuel, but no, we haven't got the time to. We don't have enough resources to do depots, motorization, and rail lines. We just can't. We can't afford it. We can't afford it. Money's tight. Stalin's too busy. That's a nice tank division. There we are. Nice work. And then over here, we'll try and build a defensive line. But what's going to happen is they're going to punch through this, and we're just going to have to form a defensive line up with Valery Luki. So this is going to get lost. It's just going to waste a turn on their end, and then they're going to have to reform here. And then it's just going to be a losing battle in the north for a while. But hey ho, it is what it is. And I don't really like using tanks in this sector because tanks are useless, but then again, it's just about slowing things down. Ain't got no choice. Mechanized. Start forming defensive possession 2. Motorized company, yeah, come on down. Come on down to Flavor Town. And reassign. You belong to that army now, and hopefully it's not going to be too much of a problem. And then what to do with these fellows. So I'm going to take the rifle divisions, and hopefully using the power of friendship, start moving them down south. I'm going to forget that's oh well. And then these troops are going to help reinforce the very Luki line. Again, marching through marshland because it's about time. Run away! Yeah, we'll send that army up as well, why not? Come on, Mr. Army. So this will form Valeri Luki line, and then this part here. I'm in two minds for this ragtag group of troops. Mind one would be to move them by rail up to Leningrad for the immediate defense of Leningrad, which will be occurring soon, because the armor is going to punch through here like no tomorrow. Or to move them to this sort of position there, and then any new troops start railing them down to Leningrad. I will probably move them because they're closest to this sector here. Choo choo! Choo choo! Nice. Okay, next one. I'll just raid them together. Worst case scenario, we lose Leningrad. And I cry. Because I couldn't LARP. I couldn't meet the LARP standards. Choo choo. I also need to fortify Leningrad, but I'll be doing that next turn if I've got any points left. Spoilers, I won't. And who wears the army? 20th army. Oh god. You're going to join a new army. A better army. Or I can just join the Northwestern Front, fuck it. And you're... They're going to set up here. This will be the next defensive line. Because once Psychov breaks, which it will, we'll have to begin a gradual retreat along this river line here. And just wear down the enemy troops that way. And that leaves pretty much everything I can do in this turn. There you go, turn one done in the space of seconds. I suppose I could move these guys up. Probably should move them up. So you're going to start moving even though you have no value. As of yet. You will be of value later, but for now you're of no value. Off you go. I'm not going to waste rail points on you, you can walk. And you're going to be thankful for the privilege. Choo choo. Next step in the master plan. Unit building. So do I have any points? No, I can't. Rifle divisions, yes. So I can fart out rifle divisions like it's no tomorrow. Everything else is too small. Cavalry division too small, mountain division too small, airborne brigades too small, regiments are too small. I don't really like the artillery regiments and the anti-tank battalions, they're all pretty useless, they're too small for your German-sized forces. However, as the turns go by, I'll get more options like tank regiments. So, for now, I'm going to build one of those. There you go, have one division. You're welcome. And then see if I can build a fort. Can I build a fort? No, I've ran out. There we are, turn one done. What's the events? On the 22nd of June 1941, the invasion of the Soviet Union began, opening up the Western Front and committing Germany to a two-front war. The Axis powers offensive, invading along a 2,900 kilometre front that stretched from the Arctic Ocean in the north to the Black Sea in the south, saw the greatest invasion force ever known to mankind. Around 3.8 million men, supported by around 600,000 vehicles and 600,000 horses. At the start of the invasion, 80% of the available Soviet military forces in the west had been deployed on the border that faced the Axis territories as the first strategic echelon. The deployment of the remaining 20% was along the Dvina and Dnieper rivers as the second echelon and was meant to serve as a spearhead to the Soviet counter-offensive in case of a German invasion. Well, that didn't really work out. At the time of the invasion, the Red Army was in the process of reorganization and modernization. Its capabilities were greatly reduced from the purges of the 1930s, strongly affecting the quality of the officer corps. Moreover, the standing and morale of the Red Army had been shaken as a result of the Winter War with Finland. On the other hand, after successful campaigns that had brought Europe to its knees, the German Wehrmacht had consolidated itself as an experienced army. And an excellent officer corps. Okay, my officers are shit. Okay, bear that in mind. I may have to go through the extra clicks to get new officers. The titanic struggle between the two major powers and their conflicting ideologies had just begun, and it will only end when one of them has been completely destroyed. Well, not technically true in this game mode, but... can I do anything else with you? Oh yeah, let's delete that depot. You're all going to starve. I've abandoned you. You've all been abandoned. Sorry. I should probably retreat that one. And let's look at the German panzer first. They're going to punch through here like nothing. This is going to collapse. And then I'll have to send these troops, probably form a line here. And this will just get flanked completely. So any new reinforcements are going to be coming down to fill up this line. Because that's a big old healthy tank push. Unless that tank push swarms eastwards. This tank push, we may be able to temporarily halt or blunt the assault here. Unless it decides to punch up north. And... this is pretty safe. The southern front, I've got plenty of time to reform there, so I'm not too worried about that. Jesus, take the wheel. How are you getting supplied? In comes the pain train. The first turns of the service are awful because there's nothing you can do. You just get wiped until winter. Basically, you're just getting slapped till winter. You just gotta sit down and take it. Oh, the rains, actually. That's not technically true. It's actually October time. The rains when things get a bit better for you because the German logistics start to wear down. But until turn 6, the German logistics are like maximum, so they're just going to run through you. So don't try any counterattacks this early on. God, don't try any counterattacks. Now, if you were a better player, you'd have been organising your officer corps and organising your units into organised headquarters and command and control. But I'm going to wait until I form a coherent defensive line, and then wherever the troops are, I'll just attach them to the nearest HQ, and that just saves me time, even though it's not efficient or intelligent. And then when it gets to winter, I'll try and organise my panzers or my mechanized into one spearhead for larger scale offensives. But I'm not too worried. As long as I don't lose Moscow, then I'll be pretty butthurt. Even though you don't actually lose the game if you lose Moscow, but still, I'd still be pretty butthurt. Okay. Not a lot of air this turn. This is fun. Alright, let me demonstrate to you the how bad your troops are at this stage. There you are. 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% Oh wow, you held. I'm proud of you. And then these guys surrendered, so you know, swings and roundabouts. So the Romanians are now joining the fun, but don't worry about them too much. You can actually probably beat the Romanians this early on. It wasn't for the German panzers threatening to flank you every 5 seconds. Try not to panic. You couldn't have done anything to save them anyway. Once they're isolated, their movement is heavily reduced. And because the Germans get the first turn, you're not in a good spot. Okay. That's the German panzers moving up. And they've flanked me at Psychov, so I may have to withdraw from it. I don't want to withdraw from it, but... Are you okay, Mr. Game? A particularly complex attack? The games appear to have frozen on this. I'm hearing troops move, but I'm only seeing a glitched attack. Oh, there we are. Okay, well, that's the tanks coming. Stop bombing me. Leave me alone. So that's why we've withdrawn from that pocket, because that happened. And it'll be interesting to see what the red panzers do. I don't know what that panzer army is called. Can't remember. Whether or not they try and sweep south to close that pocket, or they try and sweep up north. They are sweeping north. Some strong old Romanians. That's okay. They can't recover from their casualties in the long term. I could be cheeky here. I could be a cheeky chappy. Entering a rather vulnerable supply depot. And there's this be them closing the pockets now. That pocket's getting the good news. Now that looks like a rather undefended Minsk, but they've still got time to move their troops around, so got to bear that in mind. I may try and yeet over to Minsk, especially if there's a supply depot there. And just fortify that. Alright, there we are. Now we can take a look at the damage after. See where we are in the grand scheme of things. Show me the damage. Or don't. That's the thing, you've got to factor in the hour or so I've done on turn 1 with the actual turns as well. So it took like an hour to do one turn. But don't worry, it calms down after like 20 turns of this. So we have lost 214,000 men. Most of this is unsalvageable anyway, so... logistics, I have no idea what that really means, apart from 125,000 to 192,000, which I've got, so I'm guessing I've got enough supply to feed my armies for now. 64 of my 342 troops are under strength, and 61 of those are not getting enough supply. Let's take a look at the supply alerts. Supply. A lot of it won't make any sense because all these guys are encircled, so there's no point paying attention. Alright, Southwestern Air Command, are you sure you want to be this close? You know what, I'm going to trust the AI. AI, you take the wheel when it comes to my air. I believe in you. And the game crashed. Okay, I don't believe in you. I don't believe in you anymore. I don't believe in you. Alright. Let's try again. Please let it be my turn. Yes, it is. Turn 2. Good. Okay. If I press this button, is the game going to die on me? Let's find out. Aha! No. Good. Why is my iPad playing up? It's pretty self-explanatory, you just have to show me my own stream. Pretty easy to understand. Shouldn't be too complex. Okay, so let's take a look at the situation. So they haven't crossed here yet. We're still pretty good here. I don't actually need this on a... Yeah, they're pretty good for now. They may try and cross from there, and then that will mean this entire flank is completely encircled and we lose this entire force, which could potentially happen. could move one unit to secure that, and then they'll just break through that. But it's slow them down. Remember, I'm not holding, I'm slowing them down. So we're going to immediately build our fortified unit there. Okay, Mr. Cannon Fodder. Next step in the master plan, run this way. You can run as well. You can all run. Especially if those tanks decide to go down north, but they normally don't, so I like to think those tanks will go north, but that's just copium. Hardcore copium being snorted. This will fall back and form a defensive line across this river. So will you. And so will you. And then we'll have our defensive line somewhat. Security units, I can't really move you anymore. There we are. 1 times defensive line secured. Second plan. When did historically Pskov fall? Let's take a look. It should be here somewhere. I think it's on map info. The 9th, July the 9th, 1941. So I've got to hold this for like 2 weeks. That's not going to happen. Lol. Lol. I was going to form ragtag contingents along the rail lines. Any free troops? No, of course not. That would be too easy. There's some free troops here. Hello. I'll come back to you later. I need to see if I need to rail anything else off. But you're definitely in my list of things to do. So this runs the risk of being encircled, but that's okay, because maybe we can run this way if things get too bad. Hello, that's an opportunity. I have an unready tank. I could move it through to try and cut that tank push off, and that will achieve nothing because they'll just turn around and clap it, but it may delay them for a turn. Or I can just stay where I am and hope the best. I'm going to stay where I am for now. Yay, Riga's been captured, guys. Start running. Free troops? Nope, you're done for. You're done for as well. For saying that, I might be able to retreat these units out of Riga. That's a wing and a prayer, that is. Retreat this unit back. You're done for. Centre France, let's take a look at you. Yeah, the tanks are coming. The tanks are definitely coming. That tank unit's unready, so it's going to be of no value to me. Send that tank unit over here. Let's fortify this. Any spare troops for me? Nope, of course not. Retreat these back as well. Are you ready? Yes, you are. Nice little fortified unit there. So you can see that I'm not having a big extended line. I'm trying to like concentrate troops on the river crossings. That way they've either got to cross and waste a turn trying to cross the rivers and reducing their movement, or they're going to try and have to punch through these defensive lines, which is not difficult, but it's just adding incremental damage. You're being reassigned. There you are. You're also being reassigned. This unit is completely unready and will get wiped out. I think the tanks are going to punch through here. That's my belief. So these tanks are going to throw themselves into this mosh pit and eventually push me off, whereas these tanks are going to punch through here. And so I'm going to move those units up to secure that. Have I got spare troops? Yes, I do, but they're not really spare. I need to put some units on this rail line as well to stop them crossing that river. There we are. Otherwise there's going to be a gap at Kiev which there's going to be able to cross through, which no one wants. The gap in Kiev cannot be allowed to occur. I need to keep this a long maintained line, and plus if the tanks do try and push across this marshal, then it's going to do extra damage to them. These HQs have no value to me up on Thames North, so they've been too badly smashed up, so I'm just getting them out of the way. Be gone, stop cluttering my front line. The tanks are what I want to get out. There's only like 152 tanks, but they're all pretty important on the grander scheme of things. And 4, I hate moving the headquarters. The quality of life would just be like to automatically have the headquarters follow the relevant troops. That'd make my life so much easier. Moving headquarters is not a fun experience. Because they hold no value, well they don't hold no combat value. That's not a lie, they like add bonuses but they're not actually on the front lines, so you end up forgetting about them or putting them on the front lines when they're not supposed to be there and then dying horribly. So the contingents of the southern front will begin to move into the marshland. Can I fit more troops on this? Yes, I can. And that should be enough troops to fill out that line. More tanks coming? Yes, 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 yes. So these troops are going to go north. Up you go. Before the inevitable breakthrough was about to occur. And then this troop can go to high priority for the the southwestern front. So you're all going to get high priority. And the southern front, because it's going to be mostly retreating the entire time, is going to go down to low priority. I was already in medium priority, so bleh. Bleh. Yeah, Western Front's the most important one. Western Front's important. This front, it can go down a bit. You can go down to a 3. There you are. Okay, so I don't do anything for you. Anything valuable? Not really, just waves of garbage. 5th Army. Where's your cause? Alright, 5th Army gonna move this direction. Along with your many corps. Though you need to go up here. There you are, across the river. I can get the stragglers out, this is good. I can get most of my stragglers out. Yeah, that's good, yeah. Who do you belong to? No one important. Go here as well. I've got too many headquarters clogging up my lines, it's confusing me. Almost, boys, almost. If I go here, the tanks are just going to crush it. If I go up here, the infantry, I'm going to get bogged down in marshes. The only way I've got to go this way. I've got to go this way with the tanks. And hope that the Germans' panzers move elsewhere. Another HQ driving me slowly insane. MC, okay, these are the MCs, so the MCs are going to go into reserve around this sector. Or the mechanized, if you want to use the correct terminology. That's a good line. That's a healthy line, that is. The south is going to be an okay deterrent. Oh, it's going to be an acceptable speed bump. That's what the south is, an acceptable speed bump. Goodbye, rail line. And then these boys have to keep on running to form what's left of the Odessa line. Or the Kiev line. Plunk yourself there. Good. Still got garbage combat value though, but beggars can't be choosers. Nice. 6th Army, who do you belong to? Plunk yourself there, 6th Army. And then the 4th MC. Go there. I've still got this line to fill. So let's fill the south and then see what space is left. Let's get our HQs out of the way. Run away! Nice. Not bad, not bad. Good. However, once this line collapses, we're going to lose Sebastopol very quickly, so we're going to bear that in mind. That I need a thick defensive line down here, and Nikolaev. Oh, cavalry corps. There you go. Interesting. I can't retreat you. You're done for. Depot. Goodbye. I suppose I could retreat slower, but I'd rather not. If you know what I mean. Better safe than sorry. Like, I suspect I could hold this for another turn, but if the German panzers come through and break the line, then things ain't going to be looking too good for poor old me. Okay, where is the Southern Front HQ? It is there. Plunk yourself on that and get that supply, and there we are. That should increase the supply, and we were going to retreat this up here. I suppose a cheesy way of gaming this would also just to be dumping forts down as well, because forts waste time. But we don't cheese. I'm not a cheesy chappy. Oh, I hate HQs. And there we are. Progress. As you can see, it's still a pretty weak line, so yep, we are going to be sending more resources down to this sector as we withdraw to form that cohesive line. Profile me, plug yourself there. Okay, plonk yourselves there. I could probably reassign you to the Southern Front if I'm honest. Yeah, reassign these just troops to the Southern Front so it looks more organic. The anti-tank can run, or the mountaineers. We form another line behind the sector here. I have a HQ that has no troops on its command. Oh yeah, they all live there. Duly noted. Plug yourself there. See, my logic is, if I just dump the HQs all in one concentrated place, they're bound to have some sort of impact. Okay, so these troops are going to move further up over here, so there's no need to keep on sending troops up north. I'm still going to do it anyway. Basic army, who do you have control over? You're going to plug yourself down here as well. I'm going to put a supply hub here. There you are. And that did nothing. That achieved nothing. Interesting. The number of rifle cores is too damn high. It's driving me insane. Most of these will get out. The remains are slow. Where it makes more sense to move the purples where the purples are, and the reds where the reds are. Shouldn't really be splitting the troops too much. Oh god. I'm going to deviate more troops up north. And finally fill this line of whatever's left. That should be, that's pretty comfortable after this. We should have a overlapping defensive line there. Should have a pretty overlapping defensive line there. Don't know why I'm moving these security units. I think they get deleted after a certain amount of time. And then I've just got to get these guys out. Run! Oh, the tanks are getting out. Yay! I didn't doubt you for a second, tanks. Apart from that 1 second. And you see these organically form a rear guard as well, which is nice. I like how my idiotic clicking somehow forms some sort of semblance of strategy. Just click everything and then suddenly it'll all work out. And then delete this supply depot. There we are. So we have what is beginning to form into the southern defensive line. I'm going to move up the rifle divisions as well from this sector. Help reinforce this. We're going to end up fortifying this as well. We have a big old fort here, or fort line here, in time. Let's send them this way. I think I can get to where I need to go a lot quicker going this way. Nice. I should rail them really. I should be railing them. But your infantry, you're cock garbage, so you can do what you like. You can take your sweet time. almost a cohesive line. Just needs a bit more fiddling with, and then we should be pretty good to go. Pity I can't get all these troops out yet, but fingers crossed in time I'll be able to do so. This is where we try and find any spare troops that have spawned to be of useful to the cannon fodder. And we're going to move them up to the Smolensk region. The reason det. You're unready, let's refit you. I refit them so by the time they get to the front they'll be fully equipped. At least that's the logic. That's the method in the madness. In the meantime, we've got more troops spawning to be of use to us. This is going to move down, help secure that bulge. I should have finished that guy on a rail line. I think I did actually by accident. Okay. And then... oh, that's a bit loud, isn't it? Let me turn this bad boy down. A bit overbearing. What's the new news? Continuation war, Wolf's Lair and Executive Order 8802. Okay, this is a civil rights reference. Go left or go south? Let's see what troops we've got on the south first before we make a decision. See how many troops I can get to Smolensk. I'm probably going to leave them around Smolensk if I'm honest. Because if I push them too far south, what's going to happen is once this line breaks here, a lot of my troops are going to be divided and I'm not going to be able to move them up in any good time to be of any value. So I'm going to try and hopefully move them mostly for the centre. Though I have got some spare troops for what I need to do. Okay, and then this will be the final piece. None are in position yet, so there's no point assigning them a commander. And then these guys can move east to Valery Luki. Oh, yeah. Mission needs to be held. It's blue, not really the plan. This is good. This is mostly infantry, so this is good for us. This is bad because I don't have anything really to halt that tank push. They're just going to sweep round and either encircle me or just delete all my units. So I either have to make a choice here. Push there. You know what? I'm gonna take the risk. Plus, it's got a combat value of 6, so. Any more spare troops? Not really, no. Okay. Next plan is beginning to fortify around Leningrad. So we'll build a couple of forts here. No, you can plunk yourself in there. So we'll build 3 forts. Actually, we'll do the depot prioritization first. Then we will build a final fort. And then build some more units. Build 5 of those. Provide 1 more rifle division just to keep on padding the numbers. And then we should be good. This is going to be a disaster. I know it. I should just abandon Psychov. The strategic thinker in me is abandon Psychov, the flank's about to get turned, retreat across this river line and start slowly withdrawing. But the LARP in me is like, well, Psychov didn't fall until X, so I need to hold it until Y. And this is still a weak front, so we're going to see a punch through in the north. They're going to cross this river here. I'm not going to have any troops to counter that. And then they're going to start sweeping this way. But that shouldn't be a problem as long as I keep this line open. You're congested, there's nothing I can do about it. You are also congested. Well, you're all congested, really. It's just not really anything I can do. It's your own fault. Let me destroy this depot. There we are. And then the boys at Minsk, you're well, there's nothing I can do with you. Goodbye. This is, I'm worried about this as well, because that's a lot of tanks. That's 200 tanks, 300 tanks, 500, 600 tanks. 600 tanks about to get pocketed, so unless the Panzers decide to sweep up north into Pripyat, I'm going to lose. If they decide to move north, they'll cut this off and wipe it out. However, if they keep on going east, then I should be okay. And this I'm not too worried about. This front, the Romanians are babby mode. Romanians are surplus to requirement. Anyway, that's this turn done. I'm gonna go for a smoke, boys, and while this plays out, you can all sit back and enjoy. How are we doing? Yeah, so looks like they've pushed up to Smolensk. Okay, okay. I have tanks in the process of being encircled in that pocket. I may be able to get them out. Oh, I forgot to meme into Minsk. What a shame. What a shame. Still, it's taken them quite a long time to close down the Minsk pocket, which is good. Odessa's going away to Dodo. Poor old Odessa, but I don't see the strategic necessity of holding on to it if I'm not going to have any troops on that line. Okay, what's the damage? What's the damage? 500 planes lost. 900 tanks lost. 4,000. Bruh. Again, not much I can do about that situation. Over here, what's going on? Did we hold Psychov? We did hold Psychov for one turn. Good. The engagements are beginning at Minsk. And rather conveniently, those tanks are in a vulnerable position. We could try and counterattack here because there's not a lot of infantry moving up to fix that position. Most of that infantry is moving up north here, so I could try a devious attempted encirclement of the tank troops there. The tanks are broken through across the river, but I don't think that's going to pose a problem for now. Because there's no supply lines there, so if they just keep trying to push there without going through the supply lines, it's going to get bogged down. And further south, these tanks are still intact yet, so the tanks have not moved to enclose that pocket. They've instead kept on pushing towards the Kiev line. But this is now the next vulnerable position. You may want to retreat Southern Air Command. Minsk is still undefended, so I'm going for Minsk. So this turn I'll probably end the stream of Grigsby, because I don't want to get too bogged down in it. Hi Dawn, welcome back. And then we'll play something different, I don't know, like Ultimate General or something like that. How's things? Not too bad, I hope. Not too bad. Leningrad militia, are they any good? Not really. They have no real value. Okay, let's take a look. What do I need to do first? So first things first. Retreat these troops back. Good so far. We're not doing too badly about... Well, it is to be expected in the starting turns of Barbarossa. We've held for longer than expected. Which makes me a happy boy. Sort of, it's like Hoi 4 on steroids, basically. It's like Hoi 4, but quadruple the difficulty. And the complexity. Yeah, the AI is a lot smarter. I would say the AI is a lot smarter. So let's take a look. Can I attack this position? I could try and do a deliberate attack, but then I'd lose a lot of my preparedness, so it's not probably a good idea. Whereas if I just... (1 to 10), 7 to 5. Much smarter. And I'm going to move my troops here to be a reserve. So I can't put any more troops on the tiles. So what I'm going to do now is move these troops instead to go right behind and act as a reserve. And so if they attack, hopefully these guys can join the battle and force these guys off, or at least do some damage. Ah, no, he's done. Enjoy the look. This will be our next defensive line. Well, actually it won't, that's a lie. I'm going to keep on moving these troops this way. Normally I don't like using the Leningrad troops this aggressively, but hey ho, it is what it is. Why not use them? If you got them, why not use them? Okay. Did I lose my connection? I think I did. Interesting. Oh well. Still, I'm not happy with this defensive line yet because all my troops aren't in position. This defensive line's okay. This can be good at Valery Luki. We are starting to get some movement on this objective. So we're going to move troops down to help shore up that line. That tank is of no value. Neither are you, so you're going to be switching to refit. But that infantry is of value, so that infantry is going to move itself over here. Now here's the tricky part. Do I go in for an attack? The answer is an overwhelming no. Basically, the answer to that is no. This unready unit can retreat. This unit can move back in. This unready unit can retreat. And this unit can move in. That should be good. Then I'm going to make a smaller fortified line over here. New troops, if I've got any, will help come down here and shore up the defensive lines. And then these boys, these are Moscow militia, so he's going to be pretty garbage. Of little value to me, but that tank may have value, so that tank's moving down. Generally, tanks and mechanized are going to move south, infantry are going to stay up north. That's my philosophy. And these boys are going to be streamlining their way over here. And we'll see how that works out for us. And we'll build more fortifications on those river lines. Okay. Final chat. I believe we got one more guy up here. Yeah, we do. Good, good. You're going to shift yourself down to help here as well. That's going to waste all my movement points, but hey ho. And then I'm going to see if I've got a spare army to put on that depot to increase the through flow of that depot. So we're going to build a depot here. There we are. Meanwhile, any more spare infantry can start shifting down to contain this this bulge. Notice this bulge, woo! That's another spare infantry unit. Yeah, that's not going to work anytime soon. That's unready, so that's not going to work. Most of these are painfully unready. Now, two choices. One, I try and contain and they break through. Two, I withdraw this and form a defensive line here, here, and here. Which means they have to cross two rivers and they won't have an access to that logistics point. We've got an army on here. No, we don't, but we have got a tank division. We've got 2 tank divisions. Send that army up to increase the through flow of this supply. Reassign yourselves to a mechanized corps. There we are. Now, because 2 of these are unready, it would make sense to me, well, for me to withdraw to a narrower front. Because a lot of these are unready, it would make more sense if I just withdrew to a narrower front. Too many of these are unready. Hard one. On the one hand, I should move to contain and slow down their advance, but on the other, if they do break through that containment, they're just going to turn the entire flank. And I don't have any reserves to counter it. I think we're going to fortify this. And then retreat back. And you're also unready, so that proves a problem. Move that to reserve. I'm going to see Kiev completely encircled here. They're going to punch up through here and just push through my defensive line. Unless I do some cheeky stuff. Going to reserve. Move this tank over. Or mechanized over. Going to reserve. Reassign yourselves to your nearest HQs. Reserve. Oh god. Everyone else start running still. Okay, you can't run, you're done for. Your deed. Reassign yourself to somewhere useful. And this corps can be reassigned to a more useful army as well. There we are. Army, army, army. Give me an army. 5th Army. Plunk yourself on there. Everything else keep on running. So I'm going to run the troops to move up north this way. It's just going to move organically. I've got no choice but to do so. And this stuff is pretty good here. Pretty strong defensive line. Just finishing off our defenses here. Again, focus on the south. What do we need to do first? Retreat this back. Good line, good line. That's going to stay here as a backup just in case things do go wrong. Good. Nice. And this is a case of filling out what's left. We'll hold Kiev for a while, and that's what counts. Cross the rail lines. The tanks, can I get most of them out? Can. Even though they've been hemorrhaging armor and they're not ready because of the constant retreats, they'll still do their job. And that's it. The southern line has now been formed. I may just fucking delete you if I'm honest. You're going to Soviet reserves. Transfer unit, Soviet reserves, transfer unit. Disband unit. There you are. You're unready, you're too far away to be of use. Same with you fellows really, just too far away to be of use. I'll move you up anyway just in case, but I don't think I'm going to be seeing any action from you for the next couple of turns. Good. Not bad. That's moving north. That's got to move north. And these infantry is going to move to the west. Tanks I can't use, so tanks of no value, basically. Still, I can refit them and start moving them this way anyway. One, two. And then any more men for me? No. Okay. The Moscow militia are going to move to start forming a wider defensive line around Reserve. but you're not top of the priority. You're not top of the list, if you know what I mean. Things to worry about. Okay. And that's the end of his turn, I think. So, end the turn, see what happens, and then we'll save, and then we'll play something else. After I have a little short break. I may play some more Grand Tack. I haven't decided yet. Altogether, it's not too bad, but I still need to do a little bit more in terms of sorting out my supply and generally making sure these guys are still getting equipped enough to be of use. In the south, most of this is a lost cause. It's more just trying to move these units out of harm's way. Oh yeah. Damn it. So close and yet so far. What sort of unit is that? What sort of unit I can attack? Yes. Bruh. I should screw up with some of their lines anyway. Should disrupt their supply for a while. And the next thing we need to do is buy some more units. So we can now buy a separate tank regiment, which isn't that good because KV1's 145. I don't think these are going to be particularly good. What I want is something like divisions as opposed to regiments. So we're going to not bother building that. I'll build one of those. And then we'll see if I can do any more fortification. Okay, that's the best we can do. New events, RF air raids begin and eastward evacuations start occurring. Let's take a look at the info screen. Manpower losses, not very high in the slightest. Gun losses, again, not very high for the Germans. Armored vehicle losses, well, you can see. Total aircraft loss, again, you can see. But our fuel stores are going up and our supply stores are still pretty high. So altogether not too bad. And in terms of victory points, yeah, we're losing victory points, but that's obvious because it's still Axis initiative. Altogether, I'm quite happy with the retreat so far and the fact I've been able to hold Psycho for an extra term. But what's going to happen next is they'll punch through here and I'll end up splitting my line. So these guys will end up having to withdraw probably this way back into reserve. And the other infantry will have to end up retreating back towards Leningrad. And hopefully by the time this occurs, I'll have most of these troops back out to form defensive lines across the river crossings, and that will be the next line of defense. And once that breaks through, we'll retreat some more, and this will form our sort of final line of defense as we continue to drown. Still, halfway through the German onslaught, should calm down by turn 6, and then we can begin sort of not really counterattacking, but beginning to sort of organize our lines. And that reminds me, I've got to make sure my headquarters or my troops are now in good command stock now that the line has been reformed. One's in red over here, one's in yellow. Why are you in yellow? Because your HQ's over here. So let's bring the HQ back down this way. And where's your army? Oh yeah, the army's supposed to be standing on that. There we are. Yeah, these guys need to get reassigned quick sharp. Should build a depot here. Oh, there's already is a depot there. I would like to assign you to something a bit better, but hey ho. I've got a lot of troops in red. Why? I don't know. I don't know, but we'll work it out. We'll work it out. Eventually. Still altogether a good retreat. Quite happy with that. Not textbook, but it did most what I wanted to do. The key mistake here is people don't retreat as quick as they need to, and they'll not form that cohesive line. You really want to form that cohesive line before you even consider trying to do any counterattacks. So Kiev is normally the first step in the defensive process. But anyway, let's do this, and then we'll end our turn. Oh yeah, we can turn this off now. He says. Yeah, that mince pocket is rather amusing because normally they've crushed it by now. The fact they haven't crushed it is a bit embarrassing for them. Because that's like 2 key rail lines they haven't fixed yet. Oh, they haven't taken Smolensk yet as well, which is good. They should have taken it by the historical turn time limit, so they should have taken Smolensk earlier by the sounds of it, but they didn't, so there you go. Smolensk will fall eventually. I just don't have enough troops to maintain the entirety of the front, but it will be how long it takes for it to fall. Because Smolensk is quite an important rail line, so if they can't really take that, it's going to be difficult for them to keep on pushing their supplies up. In a good time limit. Can I turn you off? Turn off? No. Okay. I guess I'll be looking at the command structures of the German army then. Okay, some basic cleanup. Quite a pause. In hindsight, I may have should have told my air wings to retreat because they're too close to the lines. A rather large bulge is forming around Smolensk. I may have to retreat back to Valery. And the tanks will cross the river to the north. Which doesn't bode well. Okay, let me just take a look at this. There we are. Got to turn this bad boy down. I'm gonna have to switch my viewing methods. There we are. There we are. That's it. That's the spot. Okay. So, this is looking a bit healthier by the looks of things. I mean, we are still punching through disgustingly, but you know how it is. These things be like they be. So, strategic situation, 175,000 casualties, 2,700 cannons, 1,800 tanks. We got strength support alerts quite consistently across the line, and we've got some supply alerts down south, but nothing too bad. Altogether, not too shabby. And then also, before we end the turn, let's do a strategic recap. So I've generally retreated back down to Pskov and have for the most part been able to hold it for a large number of turns. I am now going to begin the retreat from Pskov, moving up the lines in the next couple of turns to the river crossings here, here and here, and to Valery Luki, I believe, which is over here. Is that Valery Luki? No, it's somewhere else, and this will form the next offensive line. This will remain mostly unoccupied for the foreseeable future because I don't have any troops to reinforce it yet, which is a problem, but there's not much I can do about it. In the south, because there's a bulge beginning to form at Smolensk and this area is not particularly well occupied, I will begin to withdraw troops back, probably keeping this troop for now and then retreating these troops back down to Valery Luki here. Because I can see there's tanks forming up in this sector and they have in a perfect spot to do a sweep down into my depot and just keep me in a complete disaster zone. In Smolensk, the battles continue. For the most part, we've been able to hold for significantly, or at least buy time. However, this is slowly beginning to change, and eventually we will lose Smolensk. So Smolensk was historically lost on. Oh, it's hard to read that. July the 16th, 41. Yeah, July the 16th, 41. So really, we've pretty much held for a large period of time here, and that's bought us the time we need. So this will begin a gradual withdrawal from this sector, forming up here and here to form that sort of next line of defense. Equally, I'm going to start withdrawing the troops to the next line of defense here because of the tank breakthrough. Even though they've broken through in a low supply area, I don't really have any units to contain, and so this troop and this troop is going to withdraw. So what you're going to end up seeing is a sort of a widening of this line, so you end up with more troops sort of going across this river like so, and that should be okay. That's free combat value, is it? Further down to the south, this is a pretty dead area for now. I'm not seeing a lot of movement by the Germans in this sector, which is great for me. So this will be withdrawing and reinforcing, and I'm probably going to be moving troops up now to secure these river lines, using whatever troops are coming in to begin securing the rail there. Now this should hopefully be enough to slow down the German advance, or to at least contain it, because again, I do not have initiative at this stage. There's no point counterattacking. It's just withdrawing, holding, withdrawing, and only attacking when it is really in my favour. And as for now, these tanks are still too good to break. I suspect this armour contingent who were able to withdraw will begin moving up as well, probably by rail, I'm going to be honest with you, to this sector, and then they'll be redeploying out to this area and this area to help with the containment of the German panzer push. And down south, we are beginning to see the first German panzer push at Kiev, and they're already beginning to smash through the southern sector. Now, there's not much I can do about that. A lot of my tanks are still not back, and so what you're going to end up seeing is a gradual withdrawal to a new defensive position, probably about here. And once the defensive line has been set up around Donetsk, or really just around this sector, it will continue. However, I want to hold here as long as possible because you can see there's Donetsk and Zupsk right there, which are 2 victory points. And so I want to be try and hold this line for as long as possible because I don't want them to break through too early into Smolensk. If they break in too early into Sevastopol, then I won't have any troops to defend it. So I suspect I may try and hold here another turn and allow them to try and break through. Or at least hold this river line and then withdraw. Because again, all my units are still not back yet, so I need to hold long enough to get my units back. So that needs to be a turn held, and then I should have these guys back in the rear to support. Altogether, not too bad an operation yet. I mean, my guys are still chaotic. They're still commanders in the wrong spot and all that jazz. But I can sort that out once I'm prepared to do counter-offensives. The big things I'm going to be concerned of is if the Germans are trying to do a push through into Rezev. I'm not going to have really enough troops in this forested area to pose much of a threat. And this panzer push here, because you can start seeing infantry starting to swarm through it. Now, this by itself isn't that much of a threat, but what is going to happen is once these troops finish off the pocket, they're going to start splurging forward, and you're going to end up with containment. And right now my line is too thin. I don't have enough reserves because of the initial encirclements. I need to wait until I get more reserves, which I can then redeploy, and then I can begin thinking about counterattacking. But for now, we're still very defensive until October time. So July, August, September, really it's going to be 3 months of just general withdrawals. Probably eventually ending at Donetsk or Zopsk. But however, I am prepared to give up Stalino and or potentially retreat to Kharkov if need be. However, this defensive line is so important right now because once I withdraw too much, it gets into open plains, and that's when German tanks begin to shine. And so it's got to be holding until hopefully the rains come, and then I'm going to have some breathing room. Kursk on a row I can live with. I can probably delay for a while at Kursk on a row because there's not a strong infantry push, but if that tanks break through, then it's going to be a problem. What we're probably going to end up seeing is a sort of organic divide where this breaks through, so you'll have the northern troops sort of holding this sector, and then a really weak center, and then a strong southern front. As you can see, the center's still not particularly strong. But again, there's not a lot I can do about it. I can't really waste too many rail points because I've still got to build fortifications for Leningrad, and I've still got to build fortifications for Moscow, and I've still got to build more infantry divisions to assist in reinforcing the lines. Still, altogether, not too shabby. It's pretty workable, and if you take a look at the manpower losses, they are beginning to drop a bit because the encirclements are no longer as catastrophic as they once were. So in time, I'm hoping that this will sort itself out. Anyway, let's save it again. Well, I think the game's already saved, but that's to be on the safe side. And I will now switch to a different game.